favorite. Now cuts in. He scores! Jimmy Staples takes him in.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. David Wagner is scored.
Give the ball up and over and in. I believe touchdown. The kick. It is in the air. It has distance. It's good. Van Tiffin has won the ball game.
Tillman on the end around. The 10, the 5. Tillman. He's in. Touchdown, Auburn.
Jay Barker hits the knees. We're going home. Down the winds. The fans now come out as the Crimson Tide add to their wonderful season.
Play action fake, rolling right to throw it off. Church, touchdown! Touchdown, Upchurch!
Got it. Garvin Adams.
Newton back to throw under some pressure, pulls up, has his man open. Caught! Lutson Kirkin on the way. No, return back Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Chris Davis, touchdown, and answered prayer.
We welcome all of you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS. Today from Auburn, Alabama, the Crimson Tide against the Tigers. Prior to the game, Gus Malzahn, followed by the 2010 Heisman Trophy winner, undefeated with Carolina, Cam Newton. The enthusiasm palpable, almost raucous, as we have a sellout crowd yet again at Jordan-Hare. Take a look at the standings in the SEC West. This is pretty simple. If Alabama wins this afternoon, they are the West champions. They go to Atlanta. If Alabama falters and Mississippi, Ole Miss beats Mississippi State tonight, they will face Florida in Atlanta. Hi once again, everybody. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson. Welcome on a gorgeous day in the South to the 80th edition of the Iron Bowl. Gary, you grew up in Detroit. I grew up in Austin. We think we know a little bit about college football rivalries, but after a decade together, I think we also agree this one is very special.
Well, Vern, in modern times, I mean, when you think about the last 8 Iron Bowls had implications for a national championship. There's no rivalry that can match the excellence of what this matchup has been the last 8 years.
It seems a long time ago now, but Alabama lost at home with 5 turnovers to Ole Miss. There was talk that the dynasty was dead. Hold on. How have they gotten it all back together?
You know, Vern, there's a lot of good football teams, some more balanced than others, but I don't think there's one as dominating on defense. This is a team that wherever you look, they can beat you and dominate you, whether it's your rushing attack, when they just shut down LSU, their linebackers run sideline to sideline, and if you're brave enough to throw the ball, which you have to, their secondary, like they did to A&M, had pick sixes and changed the scoreboard. There's not a team in college football that can match up that with what they have on the other side. A perfect match for their defense. Derrick Henry controls it, makes first downs, and on top of that, he produces big plays too.
Kind of does. In contrast to Alabama, Auburn was a preseason pick to win the West. We saw them in Game 3. They were waxed by LSU, and they've struggled to get back, but they are playing much better now.
Yeah, we might be a little tainted of how we think about them because we saw them in person against LSU, and it did not look good. They have gotten better. I don't know if they're good enough, but if they're going to have a chance to beat this Alabama team, they're going to have to do it early in this football game, make some plays, and let that guy, Jeremy Johnson, I've said forever, to beat Alabama, you're not going to beat them with average quarterback play. Good plays early, get the emotions going, and maybe Jeremy Johnson can have the game of the season.
Quite a scene, isn't it? Jordan-Hare in Auburn. We'll be back to Jordan-Hare Stadium after this.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Napa.
Geico. Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. And by Verizon.
Alabama for the annual Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. It's another football Saturday in the SEC. Volunteers, Razorbacks, we're Tigers, Gators, Commodores, Gamecocks, and Wildcats. You can hear our battle cry. Roll Eagle, roll Tide, Bulldogs, Aggies, Rebels, and the like. From Rocky Top to College Station, yeah, we're one big country nation, that's right. It's the Tide and the Tigers renewing their rivalry once again. The SEC on CBS, the best game from the best conference.
Another of the great traditions in games played in Auburn, the launching of War Eagle, in this case, Nova. Let's go down to Allie LaForce.
Thank you, Vern. I'm here with Cam Newton. Cam, what an eventful week you have had, helping the Carolina Panthers remain undefeated with the win against the Cowboys on Thursday. Now you're here as an honorary head coach to help your alma mater beat Alabama. What was your message to the team before this game?
It's simple. Play within themselves, and the moment can't be too big for anyone to make a play today.
Jeremy Johnson has such a roller coaster season, but he gets a chance to prove so much with this start today. What was your message to him?
A talented kid like that, him just being him is enough. He has all the talent in the world, and I think he gets outside and wants to do too much, but him being him is good enough.
You were a part of one of the most famous Iron Bowl comebacks in 2010. The team would go on to win the national championship. How can you describe what a win in this rivalry game means for these programs?
It means a lot. It means a lot, especially for Auburn and this program. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Cam, thank you, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Vern.
All right, Allie, thank you.
We know not to doubt him, but it will take a Cam Newton performance, I believe.
Well, he had one of the great seasons in college football history in 2010. Those of you shivering in the Midwest, I'm sorry.
Yes.
73 degrees.
Yes.
It could not be more perfect. Alabama leads the series. Auburn 8-4 here. They had that 41-year stretch when there were no meetings. Depending on who you listen to, it had to do with the choice of officials or the amount of per diem. Yeah, per diem. Jonathan Ford takes a knee.
Well, that's better than the last time that Alabama kicked in this stadium.
I kind of remember that 2 years ago. And here is Jeremy Johnson. This will be his 4th start in succession. He started the first 3, was ineffective, gave way to Sean White. Sean White injured, and Johnson back out there.
I think that's great advice. Let the game come to you. Don't try to do too much. It's a long football game. Play within yourself, that Cam gave to Jeremy Johnson.
First down 10 at the 25. Sweep. Jason Smith, number 4, caught from behind and dropped. Now let's take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Sean Coleman, Kozan, Dancy is the 3rd center to be used this day for this team. And here's a quick huddle. Johnson, deep right side, man coverage. Cyrus Jones is back there in the pass, overthrown to Ricardo Lewis. Defensively for Alabama, this is as good a group up front as you will see. And Cyrus Jones, last part of the season particularly, is having a very good year. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, that one was on Marlon Humphrey over there. They went to the right. They had success a year ago throwing that big deep balls against Alabama, but that one was just a little wide, and Humphrey had good coverage.
Melvin Ray in motion. Johnson caught. Incomplete. No. Didn't control it. Melvin Ray.
Yeah, Mika Fitzpatrick injured, but now after a week off, basically back in there, a real playmaker, and he's one that might have got it on the bobble, but he cleans it up. I tell you, you just saw why Alabama's defense makes plays. Reggie Ragland on first down runs down that jet sweep, and they just continue to play solid defense.
Kevin Phillips to punt to Cyrus Jones. The last 3 times he has returned to punt, it's gone for a touchdown. Flag before the snap.
Yep, I think this is going to go back 5 yards.
Tom Ritter.
24 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
That's Blake Countess starting strong safety. So kind of a stuttering start here for the Auburn Tigers. 4th and 13.
They stuttered out of the blocks last year in the game, the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. The first play of the game was a turnover. They started tight a year ago and already make a mistake here.
Short, fair catch. Called for and taken by number 5, Cyrus Jones. That is a 36-yard punt and nothing on the return. And Chris Frost and Cyrus Jones, old foes, are reintroducing themselves to each other. And the quarterback, Jake Coker. And let's go to the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Cue the cow. And we'll run through these expeditiously. Robinson, Pierce, Baker, Kelly, O.J. Howard having a terrific year. Henry, Ridley, Stewart, and Mullaney. And Alabama with good field position. Here's our Darius Stewart. Gets a little bit of a block from Mullaney out on the corner and spins out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Defensively for Auburn, take a look at the 2 tackles. We've got a Dontavius Russell and we've got a Montravius Adams.
That's your job, Bern. That's you.
Thank you for ducking on me. Coker. Or Darius Stewart spins first down.
Interesting, the same type of blueprint that Alabama likes to use in big games. They like to open up the game and spread the defense. The first play, even though it looked like a run, was a pass and another bubble screen. 2 for 2. Get your quarterback off.
Derrick Henry slips as he tries to make a cut to the left. Derrick Henry, the last 4 games, Gary.
Well, you know, you almost could close your eyes and pick out any games, and he's got some big runs, but towards the end of the season, they've become to rely on him more and more. He has become the go-to guy, and they ride him at least 25 times a game.
Our Darius Stewart in motion again. This is Henry cutting back to the right. Stiff arm out of the tackle to the 25. Cut back and cut down at the 15-yard line. Jonathan Jones and Blake Countess, numbers 3 and 24.
One missed tackle right there. Could have cleaned it up, but Stephen Roberts could not come up with the tackle. He's a tough guy to tackle in space. Long arms and legs.
Here's Henry going left and bangs his way inside the 10. Take another look at this 29-yard run here.
There are a lot of advantages as a running back to being short or stockier, but there's one advantage to being a tall running back. Those long arms can keep that defender away from you, and he sure did it on that one.
2nd down, 4. Ridley, wide left, 3 receivers to the right side. Quickly out to our Darius Stewart, and he is stopped by Jonathan Jones. Now let's take a look at the Alabama Verizon Red Zone stops. Stats, not stops. 48 trips, 28 touchdowns, just below the national average. 3rd down, 5.
Well, the call now is Will Muschamp, defensive coordinator. Is he going to come after Jake Coker, or will they sit back?
Tight formation. That is Mullaney in motion. Toss, Henry. Mullaney does not get the block, and the tackle is made short of the first down. Blake Countess.
Will Muschamp dials it up right. He stays back. His whole defense, as you look over there, I think it was Carlton Davis. I think probably their best corner, true freshman, that goes down on this play. Hope it's not too bad for Auburn. He's an important player for them. But that was a good call from Will Muschamp. Had his guys ready to pursue the toss, and they make the stop.
There's one more look at it. And Alabama lines up the player, Carlton Davis. You're right, Gary. I mean, Will Muschamp talking with some enthusiasm about the contribution.
Well, he's really changed their defense. He gave them another corner that could play shutdown man-to-man and allowed Blake Countess to go to safety. Made him different.
Time has been called while they tend to the injured player. Great news for Auburn. Carlton Davis had the wind knocked out of him, so he trotted off without assistance. And on the field now, Adam Griffith. The last time he tried a field goal toward this goalpost, it was 31 yards longer than this one. It was a 57-yarder. And, of course, that resulted in the kick 6. He started off inconsistently this year, but he has hit 14 of his last 17 field goals. Here is the 26-yarder for the early lead. Right down the middle. And another exchange of emotions. A little chippy early.
This was a big stop for Auburn. Remember a year ago in the Iron Bowl, Auburn was inside the 10-yard line 4 times and only got field goals. It hurt them later.
Miami at the Jets lead late game. Pittsburgh at Seattle. Jim, Phil, Tracy hopped on a plane yesterday, and they are out west now. It all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. One day, JB's going to let us know what was so funny. 3-0 here. 11:28 expired in the opening quarter. Jonathan Ford and Blake Countess are back to receive the kickoff of Adam Griffith. See if we can keep it on the tee this time. Nice. Touchback again. Well, Auburn's going to get it for the second time in the ball game. They have really struggled offensively.
Well, when Auburn was picked to win the West, most of the people deciding that they were the favorites was because of recruiting quarterback Jeremy Johnson. They thought he would be a seamless guy and run this offense. Duke Williams was supposed to be the big play receiver. That never happened. And the running game, remember, Auburn the last 2 years led the SEC in rushing, but they never got that breakaway rushing attack that they've had in the past.
Javon Robinson is the running back. He gets the handoff, comes to the left, cuts right. Nice run. Cyrus Jones with the tackle, number 5.
Well, Javon Robinson has been the guy that has emerged for Auburn. In the first 7 games, he only had 4 carries. But in the last 4 games, the least number of yards, 91.
They'll go quickly on you, and they just did. And that's a first down as Javon Robinson bursts into the secondary.
Did they know I was talking when they went that fast? I mean, Aren't they supposed to be polite about that?
No, not here. That's first down 10. Well, they were emphasizing the need from this offense for explosive plays. Anything in excess of 20 yards. Johnson back, flips it left side, man wide open. This is Peyton Barber. Somebody blew an assignment, I think. He was all by himself.
Yeah, just swing it back out of the backfield. And that time, Reuben Foster, I would have assumed, would have to take that first back, and he did not.
28-yard gain, first down at the 25. Peyton Barber, number 25. Dalvin Tomlinson, number 54. Kirby Smart will rotate 8 defensive linemen in and out of the game.
Yeah, I don't think the hurry-up no huddle that Alabama will have any excuse about being worn down. They've got plenty of players to play in this game. If they get a little fatigued, they should just switch up because they got a bunch of them.
Marcus Davis. Here's Ricardo Lewis, the wide receiver, and he's got another first down. Now, how about a year ago, last season in Tuscaloosa, only 2 touchdowns on 8 trips inside. Here's the quick snap again. And they are running on this Alabama defense in the early going. Peyton Barber with the quarter. Second down. Barber, the leading rusher for this Auburn team, came into the game with 947.
Gus Malzahn did not like the look. He ran down there and took a timeout.
That's the first. It is a rivalry, after all. Sports app now.
Vern, you said Auburn was able to run the ball effectively. There's no secret here. Auburn knew that the offense and defensive lines had to step up their game. They know when they put on the tape how good Alabama was in their front. So that Auburn offensive line, Coleman, Kozan, Golson, Danzy is actually substituting, Smith and Young, had to match up. This will be a quick snap.
Kirby Smart had 4 defenders out on the field, and then when he saw what the formation
Tony
was.
Stevens, the tallest receiver, is in the game. If they want to go for the jump ball, he's the guy they may go to.
Keeper Johnson now flips it out. Caught.
It was a lateral.
It was a lateral, yes. Kerryon Johnson.
That was the infamous pop pass. The one that Sammy Coates caught at the end of the 2013 game to tie the game. Alabama stayed with their players. All he had was the third option being a lateral. Again, now as Auburn substitutes, Alabama will substitute and bring on their pass rushers.
Third and 5. Ricardo Lewis near side. They bump and run with him. Handoff up the middle. He's not going to get the first down. And we will have the attempted tying field goal, I would assume, coming up. There's Kirby Smart, defensive coordinator with Nick Saban. And Daniel Carlson is coming on.
Now this, as Gus Malzahn so famously said in the offseason, that was bulletin board material for Alabama. We could have put 60 on them a year ago, but we got stopped 4 times in the red zone. On the 3-7-7-3, here they are getting stopped on the 7 again.
Daniel Carlson from 24.
Delay a game.
Carlson
Delay game.
pointed to himself.
5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
That's on me. So it will be a 29-yard field goal. Tyler Stovall is the holder, and Ike Powell will snap it back. Carlson, here comes the jinx again. He's hit his 14th in a row, last 14.
Get ready for golf.
Oh my goodness. B.J. Petway was one of those who certainly crossed the neutral zone.
That's how big, if this is going to be on Alabama, that's how big that 5-yard penalty was.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
The delay of game, they probably, if that would have happened on the previous play, prior to the delay of game, it would have been a 1st down Alabama. Now they reach out, the holder reaches out. It was almost a called play by Auburn that time. So we're going to try it for a 3rd time.
Back to a 24-yard effort. $15 in a row. Daniel Carlson. And we're tied 3-3. Almost the halfway point of quarter number 1. Senior day at Auburn. Chris Frost, number 17. Ricardo Lewis. Casanova McKenzie. Be right back. And he tells his story for the first time on 60 Minutes. Plus the Daredevils, who are taking on one of the most dangerous mountains in the world tomorrow. Only CBS. Oh, there are some references to the Kick 6 game.
And, Vern, I saw you go back for seconds Thursday night. I'm not saying anything, but I saw you go back.
I thought I got away with that. Really?
We had a great night, didn't we, with the crew?
It's one of the pleasures we celebrate on the road with our family, and that's all 70 of us for the SEC on CBS. And had a great Thanksgiving meal Thursday night in the hotel and got to share stories and warmth and friendship. Boom. Well, Daniel Carlson hit 74% of his kickoffs through the end zone or for touchbacks, and that 1 for 1 today. 7:35 to go, opening quarter. $55-44 a year ago. That was in Tuscaloosa. Here comes Jacob Coker. 3 wide right, 2 to the left. Obviously an empty backfield. Auburn brings 4. 3 down. Coker backs off. That's complete out near the 30. Damian Harris, and a reminder that Kenyon Drake fractured an arm. He might be back. He's in uniform, but I doubt he's going to play.
I watched him very carefully in warm-ups. He really only used his left hand catching some fade passes. He didn't use his right arm much at all. I could see him as a decoy. I can't see him getting the ball. Too dangerous.
Derrick Henry back in now on 2nd down and 6. Stewart in motion. Henry. Not much. Jonathan Ford.
Well, Vern, when we spoke with Will Muschamp, the architect of this year's defense, he said, listen, I challenged my front 7. I said, you got to win. You have to match what Alabama's doing with their defense, or we got no chance. He challenged his front guys, make some plays.
Ryan Kelly will snap it on 3rd and 5. Coker. That's complete, and forward progress will give Richard Mullaney the 1st down. He's
real late flag.
Yeah, real late.
Real late flag.
Again, Tom Ritter is the referee.
Was after the catch, but maybe he couldn't get it out of the pocket, so let's see.
Pass interference, number 13.
Yep.
Darius Stewart.
Replay third down.
Well, Stewart did not catch the ball on this play. This is very odd. Well, I got to say, I don't know about that one. I mean, he had his hands up, wasn't involved in the play. I didn't quite see it.
Darius Stewart, as he trots back, is having words with the umpire who threw the flag.
It's a big play, though. That was a first down. It's nearly a 20-yard penalty.
Four-man Auburn rush. Coker bolted at the 19-yard line. Casanova McKenzie.
Vern, remember I said Auburn needs some good things to happen early in this game. I think that's one of the good things. That penalty on a completed pass, obviously Alabama was not going to be gambling in their own end zone. So now the crowd and the defense and everybody starting feeling good about themselves.
Stephen Roberts is back to return the punt of J.K. Scott, and he's joined by Marcus Davis. That's a good one. Davis at the 30. All the way back to the 50.
They were doing the gimmick play. Auburn and Gus Malzahn was trying to steal a punt return. This returner is signaling like he's the guy. It's actually going to the other one, trying to draw the Alabama defense to the left. Watch. The top guy says, I got it. It's actually going to the other, and Alabama stayed in their lanes and stopped the play. Again, Auburn trying to find ways to create energy and steal points.
With a first down now at the Alabama 49-yard line. Peyton Barber is the running back. On the sweep, Jason Smith, second carry of the ball game. Marlon Humphrey, redshirt freshman, number 26 with the tackle.
There were four big players, contributors to Auburn's explosive plays a year ago. They had 8 of them for 321 yards. Listen to this. In the other 82 plays, they only gained 309. But all 8 of those plays were accomplished by players not currently with Auburn at this game.
Here's the sweep. Cuts inside to the 40. It'll be third down and 1. Peyton Barber again.
Auburn continues running their offense. A lot of jet sweeps, a lot of motions.
And after the big gain,
hurry up.
Prior to the snap, false start, 98, offense. 5-yard penalty, remain third down.
Just a point about the hurry-up, no-huddle part of Auburn's offense a year ago. They ran 17 of them in the game against Alabama. Their long gain was 2 runs for 12. They had 8 runs for 2 or less, 2 penalties, and 1 fumble. They just made another mistake on the hurry-up, no-huddle.
3rd and 6. Chase.
Got him.
Javon Robinson, first down.
Both offenses are managing their quarterbacks at this point in the game. A lot of short throws and screens. And both have been catching the defenses off balance, more so for Auburn.
Right side this time, it's Javon Robinson.
Robinson on the carry.
Just to go over those names that made the plays a year ago, it was Nick Marshall, of course.
Right.
Gone. Sammy Coates.
Gone.
Quan Bray. And
Gone.
DeQuell Williams, who could be here, but was suspended from the team.
Yep. After 5 games, Duke Williams was kicked off. Reverse. Ricardo Lewis caught for a loss. Eddie Jackson.
Well, Eddie Lewis does what he does so well. He played corner in this game a year ago. Much of a nightmare game for Eddie Lewis a year ago. In fact, he got benched in this, Eddie Jackson got benched in this game a year ago. Eddie Jackson did. Moved to safety, and that has been one of the great moves and decisions for Alabama. Eddie Jackson has been a star on this team this year.
Third down 15, 2:40 to go.
On balance, ran this play already.
Lewis slips a tackle, but he can't get by the second man. That's Marlon Humphrey. Let's go back and take a look, Gary, at Eddie Jackson a year ago.
Yeah, he was matched up against two pretty good players a year ago. Sammy Coates burned him twice for touchdowns. Ended up leaving that game. Ended up being Brandy Sylvie came in and replaced him in the secondary at that corner position, and in the offseason he was moved to safety, and that was a great decision.
44-yard effort. Daniel Carlson to break the tie. Perfect. 16 successful field goals in a row. An Auburn record. Daniel Carlson from the snowy spot of Colorado Springs, Colorado. There's head coach Gus Malzahn. Ooh, is that field goal going to make it? Ah, yeah. Knew it all the way. 6-3. Damian Harris is back with Richard Mullaney. And again, Daniel Carlson, 74% of his kickoffs result in touchbacks. Not this one. Oh, my goodness.
Right into the sun, and he lost the ball.
Yeah, he sure did.
It was tipped, but he could stay in the end zone. There's no need to come out.
What in the world?
But Mullaney was playing safe. I have to give him credit for it, okay? Harris lost the ball in the sun. When it touched him, Mullaney saw him touch it. And he can't, Harris, look, and he can't find the ball. Mullaney sees Tom Ritter signaling that the ball had touched, and he says, I better be safe here and get it out. You know, it wasn't the proper play, but it was a safe play. Watch Tom Ritter signaling that the ball touched him, but the momentum of the ball would have been a touchback. But I don't blame Mullaney for not knowing exactly and going and getting the football.
Ran out to the 10-yard line. That play is under further review.
They're reviewing
to see if he stepped out.
That's what I think.
Yes.
Did his foot hit the back line?
Yes. Well, what they're looking at, I think, is did the ball hit the back line, Vern? Because if he stepped out, it's going to be a touchback. Did the ball hit the end line? And if he touched it, no. Did the ball before it came back in hit the line? Let's see. It did not. So I think this play is going to stand right where it is on the 10-yard line. If the ball would have hit the line, or if Mullaney would have stepped on the line, the ball would have come out all the way to the 20-yard line.
Our replay official today, and we'll get the word from Tom Ritter in a moment, is John Bible, grandson of one of the great coaches in the history of this game, D.X. Bible. Call on the field, he did not step out of bounds. Well, here's Tom Ritter.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down to the 10-yard line.
Yep. So if it would have hit the line or he'd have stepped out, it would have been a touchback. You can't blame Mullaney. He could have taken a knee, but he was a little bit confused. He sees the official signaling touched ball, and he gets out and says, I might as well get what I can.
So the play does stand. First down 10. Derrick Henry is the running back. Straight up the middle with a slight cut and a nice gain on first down. First time trailing in a game since October 24th. They were down 14-13 in the fourth quarter, came back to win that one. That was in Tuscaloosa. Henry again. Bounces off the tackle, picks up an additional 3. Let's go back to Adam Zucker for this Heisman Watch presented by Nissan. All right, Adam. First down 10, 5 wides, 3 to the right. Quick flip, dropped it. Darius Stewart.
That's close to being a lateral as well. This will be judged whether it's an incomplete pass or a forward pass. They're going to call it an incomplete forward pass.
Second down 10. Coker 4 of 5 for 16 yards.
I thought that was a lateral, and I'm surprised they're not reviewing this. As we know in this game, every yard and second counts.
Let's try the other side. It's our Darius Stewart who catches this one and comes up just short of the first down. The tackle made by Trey Williams, number 30.
Yeah, those 3 or 4 yards now make a difference on that call we had just then and on this third down call. Instead of it being 3rd and 6, it's 3rd and 2.
Play action. Richard Mullaney with another first down. Mullaney, who played 4 years at Oregon State, exercised the option of a graduate student to come here. And he's been an important contributor in that slot receiver position. That is the end of the first quarter. Auburn leads it 6-3. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. 87,000 plus on hand at Jordan-Hare in Auburn. We begin quarter number 2. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Allie LaForce with you. The 80th Iron Bowl meeting between these two. First down 10. Alabama trailing by 3.
Haven't had a deep ball yet. Been all throws almost behind the line of scrimmage for Alabama.
They fake it to Ridley, give it to Henry. And he is up the middle for positive yards. He's in excess of 50 yards through the first quarter now. You said at the outset that Auburn needed to make some things happen, and they have.
And they did it the hard way. They've run for almost 50 yards in the first quarter. You know, they'll take 200 yards rushing, believe me.
Well, here's the run by Henry. And another first down. He has not been contained. He's got one yard of one run.
This is a little odd, Vern, for Alabama. They're not a long drive team. Since the Ole Miss game, they've only had one 10-yard drive for a score, and that was in the LSU game. They're a big play team now.
Up the middle, they'll ride Henry's effort again. Gary, is that a change due to the presence of Lane Kiffin?
I think so. They're a little bit different team. They're not a smash mouth team. Will Muschamp didn't think so. I don't think Lane Kiffin thinks so. And of their 16 touchdowns since Ole Miss, 7 of them have been more than 30 yards. 5 of them more than 50 yards. They've been a big play offensive team.
Play action. Second down 2. Is it intercepted or dropped?
Nope.
Incomplete. That was Carlton Davis, the freshman.
Just to go with that theme, as you see the ball is thrown behind Mulaney on this play, almost tipped to Davis. Had it not been tipped by Mulaney, Davis might have had it. But Auburn, who is known as a hurry-up team, is averaging 70 plays per game. Alabama, 72. Back in the heyday of Alabama offense, they used to average about 64. It's one more series a game. They're going faster.
Henry, first down plus, inside the 30. Carlton Davis with the tackle.
This is the one thing that Auburn did not want Alabama to be able to do. They looked at the stats and said they give up a lot of tackles for losses. Alabama's 112th in the country in tackles for losses. They watched that Tennessee game when they had 10 of them. They thought that was their best path. Make some negative plays. So far, they have not been able to do that.
Henry gets a rest. Damian Harris is the running back. They give it to him. He starts left, cuts back right, and Trey Williams is there to greet him, number 30.
Well, Damian Harris obviously getting those carries because there's no Kenyon Drake.
I mean, there's Kenyon Drake again, broken arm, right arm. Might be ready should they get to the championship game. And this is the 12th play of this drive. Henry to the 23. Well, Kenyon Drake injured both this year and last, Gary.
Yeah, he's been a tough luck player. So fast, quick, got it back this year, and then on a kickoff play against Mississippi State, we were there, and unfortunately, it looked like that forearm was cracked or broken, and he's out here with a big protection. He practiced, he's in uniform, obviously. I just can't believe. I say he comes out and is a decoy. I don't think they're going to give him the ball.
Third down, 5.
Last time they didn't blitz. Doesn't look like they are this time.
No, they're not. Coker with time. Tipped, incomplete. Calvin Ridley wanted the flag, and it was not thrown. Stephen Roberts, number 14, defending.
Yeah, Stephen Roberts. 2 game has been another one of those bright spots. Could have been called another pass behind the receiver and allowed Roberts to make up that distance.
So Adam Griffith, who started the year 0 for his first 4, has now made 15 of his last 18 and will try to tie with this 40-yarder. We are notched at 6 apiece. $11:47 to go. 80th Iron Bowl. Head coach, he was also here as the offensive coordinator, and he is a part of our Home Depot Tools for Success. Gary?
Well, if not, we are creative. We're going to figure out a way to make this a tool. And your head coach, you know what you got to do, Vern? Keep coaching. Okay, I always say keep playing. But in the kick 6, I was walking in the offices of Auburn, and I noticed a picture from ground level of this kick 6. But way in the background, as everyone's cheering, there's Gus Malzahn holding his team back. Got his hand up. He's not celebrating. He is telling everybody, stay off the field. Let's not get a penalty. These guys coach until it's over.
You know, it's tough. I think he wasn't even looking at Chris Davis.
He wasn't for a while. I watched it before. He cheered, and then right away, he went back to coaching. Great job by Gus Malzahn.
Here's the kickoff. Kerryon Johnson will take a knee. Well, this is just a magnificent day in the South. 73 degrees as we kicked off. Watched the last quarter of Baylor TCU last night. And congratulations, by the way, to Gary Patterson, Trevon Boykin, as TCU won in double overtimes, but it just looked raw and nasty.
It's as bad as I've seen.
Yeah, it's a little different here. First down 10. Out of the backfield, carry on Johnson. Whoa.
Reuben Foster, the ex-Auburn commit,
Right.
switched to Alabama at the last second. 5-star, brought it this time. Remember on the pass play, he didn't seem to know who he had. Looked like he knew who he had on this one. He and Reggie Ragland just run sideline to sideline as good as any pair in college football.
Reuben Foster is from Auburn. Second down and 9. Johnson. Well, at Auburn High School, his senior year, this is Auburn High School, not too far from Jordan-Hare Tigers. And this is Reuben Foster's tattoo.
Down 9.
Go Tigers. Number 10. 3rd and 9.
This is the one that I believe that Auburn will be very careful with their quarterback. Tight game. They don't need to make a huge mistake.
No turnovers either team thus far. Johnson back. Across the middle. Caught but short of the first down. Melvin Ray, number 82. Well, let's see where they spot it. Yeah, it's going to be a yard short.
This will be a punt. They're not going to decide on this.
I can't imagine they would. Nope. So they're going to bring Kevin Phillips on. Spent last year at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. So in his first year here.
Alabama is staying in defense safe. They've got their whole defensive unit out except for the return man.
Cyrus Jones back. 3 returns for touchdowns this year, including 2 in the last game.
Delay a game.
Delay game, number 91, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
This is, by the way, one rule that I think college football will look at in the offseason when the offense has a penalty and then they start the clock again towards the end of the game. In this case, they're not doing it because it was dead, but that's one they will look at as teams try to kill the clock.
Jones still upright. Stiff arm. Taken down by Trey Williams. That's a 38-yard punt and a modest 4 yards on the return. 9:19 to go, first half. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC will continue after this message and a word from your local station. 9:19 to go, first half, 6-6. The ball game here. Let's take a look at the SEC West standings presented by Dr. Pepper. Alabama, 1 game edge over Ole Miss. Arkansas's winners yesterday. Now, how can the West be won? Pretty simple. If Alabama wins this game, they take on Florida in the SEC championship game. Or if they lose and Ole Miss loses tonight, Ole Miss can get there by defeating Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl, coupled with an Auburn victory this afternoon.
Yeah, that last scenario, them getting there on a loss and a loss,
Yeah.
not going to be very exciting for the Alabama fans. They're thinking national championship, and they got to win both games. If I'm Will Muschamp, I am reminding my safeties. Lane Kiffin has been awful patient. When is he going to go for the big play?
Here's Ridley across the backfield. Maybe here. Nope. He looked deep, but he settles for the receiver out in the flat. That is Calvin Ridley.
I think Will Muschamp did tell his guys, look how far back the safety is, and he backs up. That is a message. I'm not letting you throw the ball down here. Will, at Florida, remember that opening game we did? The first play of the game, Kenyon Drake burned his Florida defense with about an 85, 86-yarder.
Yep. First down. Coker again goes deep. Double coverage way downfield. Ridley is there. And Ridley.
He got that. He got that. He caught that ball.
Wow.
He split the coverage. Carlton Davis, a true freshman, right there. He's got him. Ball's thrown to the outside, and Ridley, as Alabama's going to try to go fast so they don't get a replay on it. Will they get it off? They do.
They do. Up the middle, Derrick Henry close to the goal line.
Little surprised that Gus Malzahn didn't take a timeout there, or that the replay official didn't want to look at this ISO right here. But you know what? It didn't matter because he got it.
Now in the NFL, they'd have 7 minutes of a debate now.
The Bible knew.
Very good. John Bible is our replay official. Derrick Henry.
No.
Oh, watch out. No, even more. All the way back to the 9. Dontavius Russell first. Right there.
Yeah, then cleaned up by Chris Frost. But Dontavius Russell was the guy who got the penetration. And that has been the problem. We've talked about Alabama. They have been allowing penetration all year.
Tackles for loss.
Yes, it was.
Coker, 2-1, timeout. Ryan Kelly was not in the same chapter.
Well, I thought Coker had exactly what he wanted there. I'm surprised he didn't snap the ball.
Time taken. Six tie game. Let's go back at that last play.
This is why I was surprised. I thought they had Calvin Ridley matched up on Jonathan Ford. Look at the two safeties, very wide on this play. I thought he had the exact guy that he wanted, and that's why Lane Kiffin didn't want to take the timeout, because he thought he had the play that with his best guy, with nobody in the middle, and Nick Saban overrules Lane Kiffin.
Well, we've seen the opposite. Remember that recently? Third down goal. Look at Jacob Coker. Raised in Mobile, went to Florida State University, transferred in 2 years ago. He says he comes from a split family. The maternal side, all Auburn folks. Here comes the blitz. Coker back on third down. Drills it short. Intended for Mullaney.
Boy, what a stop by Auburn. This thing's almost having the complete opposite look from a year ago. Auburn moving the ball up and down the field against Alabama. Couldn't make touchdowns. Alabama now, Will Muschamp has to be thrilled. Getting a stop on, what was that, 2nd and goal from the 1?
26-yarder for Adam Griffith. Up and through. And the tie is broken. There's Coach Boom.
That's one guy you do not want to lip read on.
No. But I think we agree it's as much fun to sit and chat with him for a half an hour or whatever he'll give you. What a character.
Hide your kids' eyes.
View of Jordan-Hare Stadium, and the score 9-6. Alabama. Thursday, rivalry matchup between the Packers and the Lions on CBS and the NFL Network. And then in 2 weeks, the Vikings and the Cardinals show off only on NFL Network. 9-6 here. 3 field goals by Adam Griffith, 2 by Daniel Carlson. Here's Griffith. This one will head right through the end zone.
Vern, let's also salute Carl Lawson on this play, number 55. First down play, down to the almost a half-yard line, and Carl Lawson right there. He's healthy now. He blows up this play, actually beats Brandon Green, 89, who's wearing a receiver's number, but he's an offensive tackle, and that produced the third down play. Great job by Lawson and Russell to blow up that play.
First down 10, Auburn. Just under 7 to go. Handoff going left is Javon Robinson near the 28-yard line. Now let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Thank you, Vern. It was an interesting exchange on the bench between Jeremy Johnson and Javon Robinson. They got in a very heated discussion. They were disagreeing on quite a few things, to the point where Rhett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, had to get involved and break them up. But as they saw their defense get that last stop, they resolved their issues and were pumped up to get back out there on offense.
There's Javon Robinson, first down Auburn, as he goes left behind Sean Coleman and Alex Kozan, and is tackled by Reggie Ragland. Sean Coleman, number 72. Chatted with him yesterday. What are your measurables, Gary said? 6'7", 313.
Yes.
Large human being.
He barely fit through the door. That's true.
Johnson keeps it out across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
You know, that is a big play for Auburn. They don't have to be touchdowns. Jeremy Johnson is not Nick Marshall. He's not Cam Newton. But Auburn needs that play. That's how you run the ball between the tackles. Auburn cannot concede to Alabama that they just can't turn on the tape and say Alabama is too good to run between the tackles. They must force Alabama to stop the inside run game, and then other things open up from there.
Second down and 4. Robinson again. Denzel Duvall, number 30, was the first one there. How about quarterback rushing comparisons? Over the years, Cam Newton had a season for the ages in 2010. Nick Marshall, and you see the two, Sean White and Jeremy Johnson, only 15 yards a game this year. Third down 1. 9-6 Alabama. Move the chain. Robinson.
Well, I can tell you the Auburn offensive line has answered the challenge in this football game. They turned on that tape. They watched Alabama dominate that LSU offensive line. The challenge was, as they turned it on, like, guys, if this happens to us, we lose. And they have stepped up.
Well, you've got Robinson with 45 yards so far, Barber with 13. And total rushing yards, 76. Go back to the rushing play again. It's Javon Robinson.
You know, when I watch this Auburn team, I've always compared their offense a little bit to the triple option attack that Gus Malzahn has brought. That's Rhett Lashley, the offensive coordinator. He's calling plays now. Gus is helping him, making suggestions. But I always felt in the triple option, you have to establish the fullback. Well, in this offense, you have to establish the ball between the tackles or nothing else works outside.
Rock Thomas, number 9, is in the backfield now. Play action, Johnson back. Goes deep, wide open, and he missed it. Melvin Ray, third down 8.
Excuse me, Vern. Denzel Duvall, number 30, put just enough pressure on Johnson that he had to get rid of the ball before he was ready. Crossing route, Duvall comes in, and you can feel it. He just feels it and does not make an accurate throw. Had a wide open player coming on the cross in Melvin Ray, but he could not get it there.
Third down 8.
Tim Washington, 56, is in the game now. 56 on the inside, right side of the Auburn offensive line. Best pass rusher for Alabama.
Here he comes, Tim Williams. Johnson makes a miss. Hit from behind, short of the first down at the 41-yard line. That was Rashawn Evans.
Going to be close. It's a decision time in this situation right now. Was there a flag on the field?
I didn't see one. Is there maybe hidden by the...
They're talking to Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
Which means they would probably get the play over if he takes it back and take a 5-yard penalty. Or is he going fourth down? He declined the penalty.
Declined it.
That has to mean he's going to go for it.
Offside, number 56.
Yes.
Defense, the penalty is declined. Fourth down.
Interesting. So instead of taking third down over again and make it 3rd and 5, Gus says, I'm going to go for it 4th and short. Tim Williams, as he said, lined up off sides.
Out of the spread. Got it. Javon Robinson. Now they will bring the chain out. Sure looked, eyeballing it, that he had enough, but they will.
Here's the third down play with at the end of the line of scrimmage, Timmy Williams lining up in the neutral zone. And on the fourth down play, just falls forward. We think enough. Vern thinks enough.
Oh, you're unsure?
No, since there's a yellow line, if the yellow line's right, I'm saying it's a first down as well. Right again.
Who are you going to believe, me or your lion eyes?
You are right again. Well, this is the end of the half. There were some decisions made a year ago. Remember Nick Saban with 1:30 to go in the game, in the half, decide to go for it on fourth down. An opportunity to kick a field goal on about the 4 or 5 yard line, ended up scoring, picking up the fourth down. Can Gus Malzahn turn this fourth down decision into points here?
Peyton Barber is the running back. He dances through into the secondary. Nice run on first down. 9-6 with 2:51 to go. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining.
Second down 6.
How about this drive? No one has been able to do this to this Alabama defense all year. Drive the ball right down their throat. There was success. Tennessee probably had as most success of anybody, but they had a lot of big plays. The quarterback, Joshua Dobbs. It's a little different style here. They're ramming it down Alabama's front.
And here is the 11th play of the drive. Robinson to the 31. It's going to be third down.
Well, we saw that Auburn defensive line make a play on the goal line stand. Now their offensive line has answered what is 11th play of this drive. You do not see that very often against Alabama.
Now Ricardo Lewis has come on. Third down and 2. And Peyton Barber is the running back. They have rushed 10 times on this 11-play drive. Here's number 12, they'll throw. Deep in the corner. Open for the moment.
Pair of fives.
Yeah.
Cyrus Jones and Ricardo Lewis. And remember, Cyrus Jones had the quote of the week. Very much unlike Alabama. Jam the front guy, take the back guy. That's the style that Alabama uses. And Ricardo runs right by him. But Cyrus Jones does not lose where he's at. And he makes the play. He said, yeah, they got pretty good receivers. Nothing special. He almost got beat by nothing special. Not a great throw by Jeremy Johnson. He would like to have that one back.
Here's Daniel Carlson to tie it again from 48 yards out. Oh, this one goes right and stays right, so the streak is at an end.
Yeah, this is big now for Auburn. Remember, Alabama gets the ball to start the second half. This is where Alabama could go in for the kill. They get the stop, and now they get the ball, what, on the 31, 32-yard line.
Take another look as the successful field goal streak comes to an end. And the ball is in between the 31 and 32.
This is now where, as a quarterback, Jake Coker, you have your opportunity to make an impact on this football game. A 2-minute or a minute-and-a-half drive right here with a touchdown and points, then you get the ball back, could be a big turn in this game.
O.J. Howard goes to the right, number 88. Snap back, Coker got a man open. Oh, what a catch. Ardarius Stewart. Remember the comeback against Tennessee? He began that winning drive with a catch just like that.
Yeah, Coker's been a bit shaky. And that ball was not on target, but Ardarius Stewart saved him.
Derrick Henry.
Here you go.
Yep.
That's why the field goal miss was a huge play. Alabama can smell it. They have so much big game experience that they know the opportunity to put a team away.
Henry again. He's so big. 6'3", 240. That's a modest gain. Justin Garrett, number 26. Well, coming up when we reach halftime, we'll go back to New York on Rivalry Weekend for the Geico Halftime Report. 45 seconds away, and here's an injured player. It's Chris Frost.
Opportunity for Alabama not to use one of their timeouts, but they must realize that once Chris Frost gets off the field, Tom Ritter will wind the clock, so Alabama has to be ready to go. But they do have an opportunity to huddle without using a timeout.
40 seconds. Alabama chooses not to take a 10-second runoff. Clock will start on my signal.
Take a look at the top left.
Kind of gets bowled over on the play and landed on. Clock is wound now. Clock is moving.
2nd and 7. Coker has Stewart open. And Stewart has...
Did he drop it?
He did!
Listen, would have been a great catch. But he did have it. And as he came down, he lost it. But that was Jake Coker's best throw. He knew he had him on the corner, one-on-one. Coverage a bit behind on the play by Jonathan Jones. He has it and can't hold it. Something good just happened to Auburn again. Something good. I'll tell you what, Jonathan Jones might have just stuck his hand in there enough to save it, too.
3rd and 7. Stunts defensively. Coker. Oh,
my.
Oh, baby. Blake Countess would have been untouched.
Oh, my goodness. He knew. This is a touchdown. Blake Countess started off as a corner on this team. He reads the play. Jake Coker misreads it, and he's got a touchdown.
So now here's Adam Griffith. This is going to be from 51. Take a look at that. Make it an even 50.
I hope we didn't have a camera on Will Muschamp on that play.
Earlier this season,
Auburn has a player back to return.
Here's Adam Griffith, Nick Saban. This is from 50. He's hit from 55 this year. Jonathan Ford is back. Chris Davis is watching.
Plenty of leg.
Beautiful. Did it stay inside? It did. Woo!
Well, it could have been more, but it was successful. A successful drive. Jake Coker almost saw his life flash between his eyes. And then Griffith saves the drive with 3 points.
If you're a fan of field goals, we've got your Thanksgiving treat. The sun descends behind Jordan-Hare Stadium. Another touchback.
Well, Vern, you said it's been a nibble fest, right? They've been nibbling, okay, the field goals. But there were 2 opportunities. Touchdown. Ardarius Stewart in his hands? No. Very next play, Auburn, Lake Countess, touchdown in his hands. He baits the throw. He does everything perfect. No. So they're supposed to go to, they got the kids' table. They have to go nibble.
Table for 6. Looks like they might go Wildcat here. Kerryon Johnson, number 21. Yep. Bring it back.
Prior to the snap, false start, 27. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Vern, I noticed Lane Kiffin limping out here, and I got the story on what happened. Okay? Lane was home for Thanksgiving dinner, and daughter Presley, to the music of Sweet Home Alabama, jumped off the chair. That's why Lane's sitting down. Jumped on his toe and broke his toe. Said he's been limping, and he told me he had to get shot up to do the game.
You know, yet again, the depth of your reporting is
he has not been bouncing around. Presley, 9 years old, hurt the dad.
There's the run to the right. That is amazing. Kerryon Johnson. 17 seconds remaining.
Got to admit, I'm a little surprised that Auburn's even trying to do anything here. Alabama still has 2 timeouts. 17. Maybe they use their 2 timeouts and force a kick. We've seen strange things happen in college football on kicks this year.
Johnson. Sweep. Oh, ball out.
Oh,
out of bounds.
That's what I just did. This was very dangerous this time of the game down here.
That was Javon Robinson. And there is the tackle made by Geno Matias Smith.
Boy, and he just laid helmet right on the football, and as I thought, that could have been a disaster.
Ouch. Ooh. 10 seconds to go. Yeah.
Their second charge.
Alabama has called time. That's their second. 10 seconds on the clock. Let's take a look at this clock. The play clock, lower right.
Yeah, lower left. The game clock at 14, Vern. That's the one that Alabama is confused about.
Right.
They thought the ball went out of bounds. When the clock wasn't stopped, Alabama had to take a timeout, or it would have just ran out. So now with one more, they have an opportunity to try to go for a block punt if they so deem they want to. I think Alabama thought the ball went out of bounds, but I think because it went forward, it went back on the field and they wound the clock. Who knows? That one confuses me, I gotta say.
Yeah, but you got Lane Kiffin's broken toe into the game.
Broken toe.
You know.
Yeah, so we're being told that because the fumble was going forward, then the ball goes back to the spot of the hit and the clock gets wound, and that's why Alabama smartly took a timeout. When they saw the clock wound, they stopped it.
Cameron Peckling, the 36 in motion. And up the middle, this is Peyton Barber.
And everybody might say, oh, come on, what can happen in 5 seconds?
A punt return.
Well, in 1 second, a lot happened the last time we were here.
I seem to remember that. Tuesday on CBS, it's everyone's favorite red-nosed reindeer. In high definition, gather the family for a very special presentation. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. I hesitated because I was thinking about you and the grandkids with a night at home.
Oh, they'll believe me. They've got to into it. There is a decision. Auburn could have maybe scrambled around and thrown the ball real deep and tried to kill the 5 seconds. They elect to punt.
And Cyrus Jones, 3 punt returns for touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Yeah, Alabama's not even going to put anybody back. They're going for the block.
Contact and a flag. Ronnie Harrison, number 15. And if that's the call.
There's 2 of them. There's running into the kicker and roughing the kicker. Let's see what they call. If it's running into the kicker, the half will be over. Might be over anyway. Gus could elect to just say no play, take it and take a knee. They can't give the ball to Alabama because Alabama could try a free kick field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to take.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense, 15-yard penalty. We will have 1 untimed down.
So it was called a 15-yarder. That means that 1 on time down, and could Jeremy Johnson throw it that far?
Let's see where the ball is spotted at the 45.
Doug Flutie threw one farther than this. Cordell Stewart threw one farther than this.
Yep. I was watching that Doug Flutie Hail Mary pass to Gerard Phelan.
Yep.
In New Orleans head coach Bum Phillips' office.
Well,
yeah.
It's a good name to drop, though, I'll have to say. If I'm going to drop a name, I'm going Bum Phillips. I'll tell you that right now.
Auburn uses a timeout. It's the game that stands alone, and we can't wait to get there. Army, Navy. Our group will move into Philadelphia to televise one of the great college football experiences any of us have ever had. December 12th, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Navy got knocked silly. Presented by USAA, by the way.
Well, Houston, pretty good football team. They pulled close a couple times. Keenan Reynolds had a pretty good football game himself, and we're going to get our last chance to see Keenan play football. What a joy.
Yeah, it really is. Our group was in Dublin when he was in his first year at Navy, and we saw him take his first snap as a quarterback.
Well, there's no doubt Jeremy can throw it this far. There's also the possibility of an interference call and march it up 15 more yards. So
all right. Alabama has 3 men back at the 20, the 20, the 25. Well, that was anticlimactic.
Hurts the rushing yards.
Yeah,
I know that.
Sure does. Halftime. in Auburn. Let's go down to Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn, who's with Allie LaForce.
Coach, your team is right in this game despite just scoring 2 field goals on offense. What would you like to see them do better offensively?
Well, we've been down there close. We missed a guy open there, and we missed a field goal. We're moving the ball well. We just got to get some touchdowns there. Our defense is playing well. We just need to stop them coming out of the second half and put some points on the board that first drive.
You've kept Alabama from scoring touchdowns. Now, how do you keep them out of field goal range?
Yeah, well, that's the key. The field goal kicker's doing a good job.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Verner, I mean, if you got a football game and you go in the locker room, you got to tell your guys, come on. What more could you ask for? Chance to knock off Alabama. We had chances to score, as Gus said to Allie. One on defense and one on offense, and we couldn't do it.
That is to the west of Jordan-Hare Stadium, and the crowd settles in for the start of the third quarter. Moments ago, Allie LaForce with Nick Saban.
Coach, your team had opportunities to get into the end zone but had to settle for field goals. How do you convert those into touchdowns?
Well, we got to finish, man. We had the ball on the 1 yard line. We got negative play, so we got to finish in the red zone. That's big for us, but there's no score out here right now. We got to go play. We got to do a better job on defense of stopping the run. If you're a great competitor, you like situations like this. We knew it was going to be a tough game, so now everybody ought to be able to do their best.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank
you. All right, Allie, thank you. 12-6 as we start the third before another sellout crowd in Jordan-Hare, 87,000 plus. And it's been close, but I don't think either coach is particularly happy. No, you think Gus
I think Gus might be. If you told him,
okay,
Vern, at halftime, you're down 6, I think I'll take it. I don't care if it's 6-0 or 36-30. If I'm in the game, I'm happy if I'm Gus Malzahn.
Well, if you recall, Alabama won the toss, deferred, so they will get the football to start the third quarter. 12-6 Iron Bowl. And again, to set the stage, if Alabama wins, they will take on Florida in the SEC championship game next week in Atlanta. If Auburn wins this, that gives hope for Ole Miss. They take on Mississippi State tonight. So Damian Harris, the deep man, Daniel Carlson will kick off. 12-6, and here we go. He will bring it out. Damian Harris. And to your point, I mean, Malzahn, they had some missed opportunities as well.
Yeah, it's so-so game, I think. Both teams, the two most exciting plays of the first half were both drop passes. A drop pass by Alabama and a dropped interception for Auburn. Now, a lot of good infighting in there, but I'm kind of surprised. I thought we'd see a more wide-open game, especially what we saw a year ago with all those big plays. It's kind of been a grinder, but I think a grinding, ugly game that Auburn really loves at this point.
I don't know how valuable this is, but the consensus at halftime in my quick poll was that can anybody complete a pass or score a touchdown?
Well,
Derrick Henry's off to a nice start.
Yes. So far, no, the answer's been, but you're right. Derrick Henry has basically been the offense for Alabama. The one deep pass to Ridley and the one drop pass by Darius Stewart. I don't know if I call it a drop. It would have been a good catch. But this is the guy. Yeah. This is the guy that usually gets this Alabama team rolling.
Cam Robinson, left tackle, cleared the way. That's a gain of 12.
Ryan Kelly, as you can see in the highlight, got a piece of his guy too, and then Henry into the second level.
Henry now with 119 yards. There's a quick flip right side, Calvin Ridley. And he is chopped down near the knees by Blake Countess, number 24. Second down. Henry. Nope. Trey Williams.
Well, Trey Williams, number 30, is getting the opportunity to, I think that's him right there, is it? Yes, it is. Unblocked on that play. Must have been a busted assignment. It did look like Alphonse Taylor, number 50, was the guy that was looking for Williams on that play and could not find him.
3rd down 4. That's Damian Harris coming in motion near side. Blitz. Coker. Wow.
You know, I really think, I don't know if Alabama misses Kenyon Drake, but I do think that Lane Kiffin misses Kenyon Drake. He was the guy that he would place all over the formations and create matchups. And right now, Alabama, Jake Coker is going, what's going on? But remember, there are different players playing. They don't have their 1-2 punch with, Henry and Drake. That was so powerful.
Pretty obvious that Ardarius Stewart.
Woo, what a punch.
J.K. Scott. Wow. That will come out after the touchback. J.K. Scott from Denver, Colorado. 13:05 opening drive comes up empty for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Upset. And there have been several. Among the most notable, in 72, that was the famous punt, Bama punt. Auburn won. Auburn over Alabama. First time Alabama visited Auburn. And then we were here in 2013 for the kick 6. The note that goes along with these 3 scores, in each case, Alabama was in contention for a national championship.
Yeah.
And they are again in this game.
I would have to say, if Auburn is able to knock off Alabama, I don't know it as well as everybody else, I admit, but from what I've been reading, this would have to be the biggest upset in this Iron history.
I've read that. Yeah, I read the same thing. 12-6 right now. Melvin Ray adjusts and comes in. Marlon Humphrey defending him. They give it off to Peyton Barber. Ashawn Robinson with the tackle.
This style of game may be a little ugly for TV, but it sure has neutralized that pass rush and those tackle for losses that Alabama front we've been used to seeing. I mean, it's kind of been a mush up front so far in this game.
Well, this is an Alabama front and linebackers that has 38 sacks for the year. They have 1 in this game. Sweep. Ricardo Lewis gets to the outside, cuts to the inside, down at the 40.
As much as you work on it, no matter what you do, if it's well blocked, you've got a chance. And that time Peyton Barber did just enough to get Lewis to the outside.
Gain of 14, first down. And Barber is popped as he struggles for a first down. Robinson 12 carries, Barber with 7, Ricardo Lewis 4. So they've spread it around.
It's the way that Gus and Rhett Lashley keep this Alabama defense off balance.
4 down for Alabama, 2nd down and 10. Low snap. Johnson back, gets rid of it. Marcus Davis. He pays a price as Humphrey is there.
Well, this is the play that Auburn likes to go for the home run. Fake the jet, turn around, but Alabama had their safeties very deep, nowhere to go but to drop the ball off to the outside.
3rd down 6. Opening Auburn drive, 3rd quarter. Alabama brings a blitz, and they got to Jeremy Johnson just as he let it go, but he completes it to Jason Smith.
Nice design that time by Kirby Smart. Reuben Foster's on the line of scrimmage, but he drops out, and then Mika Fitzpatrick comes from the opposite side. Well designed. You have to know what you're doing against this Kirby Smart nickel defense for Alabama.
Well, they thought about going for it, 4th and 1, and Kirby Smart getting a little frantic on the sideline. Kevin Phillips comes on to punt. Cyrus Jones is back.
Auburn now 2 of 10 on 3rd down in this game. Oh, there's a punt.
Yes, it is. .10:01 to go. That's a 37-yard punt. This has been a remarkably clean game. Only one penalty, no turnovers. SEC on CBS is sponsored by Ford, Sonic, The Home Depot, and by Kay Jewelers. We are back in Auburn, and aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. For 60 years, Goodyear has provided aerial coverage of college football's greatest traditions and biggest rivalries. After that 37-yard punt, 1st down. By the way, there's college football royalty here. Saw Cam Newton at the beginning of the game. Bo Jackson is also here. And this is a segue to college basketball royalty. There are rumors that Charles Barkley is here.
I thought you were going to say you had dinner with some one of them again this week.
No. I'll name drop, but not that obviously. 1st down 10.
Well, does Lane Kiffin continue to be patient? It's not like him.
Here's Henry. Slips that tackle and bangs forward. Woo. Well, Derrick Henry with 128 yards in this game as he continues his quest for a Heisman Trophy. What's the only season in which Alabama and Auburn each had a player finish in the top 5 of the Heisman Trophy voting? That's our Aflac trivia question. 2nd down and 1. And that's another 1st down to the 30. By the way, John Heisman, for whom the trophy is named, coached for 5 years here at Auburn. In the late 1800s, he only faced Alabama once, and Auburn won it 48-0. Now you find out about Lane Kiffin.
There you go. That's a no. Well, I'll tell you, we wonder all the time if Lane with a broken toe can be patient, but it is easy to be patient with number 2 because all of a sudden patience turns into a big play.
Play action. Coker under pressure, goes deep. Ardarius Stewart went up for it, but he was close to the sideline. I don't think had he been able to control it, it would have been a completed pass.
Well, ever since that debacle against LSU, Will Muschamp has taken over and rebuilt this defense. He started this year, think about as he's rebuilt this defense, 22 different players for Auburn on this defense all year. 22 different guys. And since that game, remember the Arkansas game was overtime, not one team has put more than 27 points on this Auburn defense, and he's doing a pretty good job today.
2nd and 10. Coker rolling to his left, drills it, caught. That's Calvin Ridley. Ridley came in with 61 catches.
I know Alabama have good coaches, but this is impossible to teach. How he can break down so quickly, come back to the football. It's an innate ability. Remember that catch he made on that corner route? Just an innate ability to know where the football's going, how to adjust to it, how to control your body.
3 catches in this game, 4 catches for Ridley. And here is Henry coming to the left. Jonathan Rudy Ford with the tackle.
Under control, you know he's running fast, and look at him come back to that football, gets his eyes, plucks it. Remember, perfect pass to a receiver is up where his hands are near his eyes, so he can see the football and his hands at the same time.
2nd and 7. Play action. Coker under fire. Catches Mulaney, but lost yardage as Rudy Ford, number 23, made the tackle.
Casanova McKenzie, maybe the biggest move Will Muschamp has made is moving McKenzie from his linebacker spot to what he calls the buck position, an outside linebacker defensive end. And McKenzie has changed their defense. When they got Carl Lawson back 55 and McKenzie number 8, they had those bookend pass rushers that you need in this defense.
Alabama only 2 of 8 on third down conversions. Here goes Coker. Close.
Very close.
Yep. Temptingly close.
You know, this is how Jake Coker earned the respect of his football team. Remember against Texas A&M? He took some plays like this. He never slid and made the plays, and all of a sudden, a guy who was fighting for his job became the leader of the team.
Fourth down. Apparently, Alabama has decided to go for the first down. Quarterback sneak.
Oh, I think he made it easy.
Yep.
Oh, look where they put the ball back to. I thought they had marked it way in front.
Oh, I did too.
So we had to set it to 25 seconds.
The down marker, they're going to have to do it over again. That's why they're moving it back. Wow. So apparently Alabama substituted, and how the irony for this, because they did not give time for Auburn to substitute. That's why the official blew it dead.
Toss. Henry got it, but he had to struggle.
Sure did.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh, flag is down on this one. There is a flag down on the play.
Sideline warning against Alabama. That is their first warning.
Sideline warning against Alabama.
Nick was
I think the head coach was involved.
Right, he said, do not call a flag on me in this situation.
First and 10 from the 45.
The warning was called. It was the first. He dropped the flag. Let's see if it's going to be a dead ball call. It could be a first down and a penalty.
On the prior play, we had 12 players on defense. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced for the previous spot. First down.
Well, good job by Nick Saban, or the guys up in the booth. They're right next to us. Somebody up there from the Alabama booth radioed down to Nick that there was 12 men on the field for Auburn on that play. You can see one of the guys running off late on the play. He knew he was not supposed to be out there, and Alabama knew that they snapped it, and it should have been called.
Well, as Gary said, the Alabama booth is directly adjacent to us. I glanced over there. They get a lot of help from this booth. There are 15 guys in there.
I was surprised that the back judge didn't see it. I got to be honest, I didn't see it. There's the guys right next to us. There's about 10 of them in there.
15. I counted. They got a large budget. Sweep. Calvin Ridley. Nice tackle. That's Stephen Roberts, number 14.
This feels to me like the drive of the game for this Auburn defense. Field goal here would make it obviously 15-6. Would Auburn be able to play it close to the vest if they give up one here?
Play action. Coker dances right, goes in the end zone, man is open. It's caught. Darius Stewart. How about Jacob Coker?
Incredible play by Jake Coker. Signature play maybe of the season for Alabama. Coming off the edge, first Carl Lawson, and then
Byron Coward.
Byron Coward, yes, number 9. I thought it might be McKenzie, but that didn't make sense. But boy, evading 2 of them and then looking downfield for the touchdown. What a backbreaker.
That was the freshman Carlton Davis who let Stewart loose. And with 5:14 to go in the third quarter, we have our first touchdown of the game. Magnificent effort from Coker to Stewart. We are back in Auburn, and it's time for our AT&T strong performance.
Well, prior to the touchdown, remember the third down scramble. Coker evaded 2 of them. Casanova McKenzie and I think Lawrence, number 94, to make it 4th and inches. And then, ensuing, he avoids 2 more. And the guy who dreamed about it is now making the plays. I think the 2 biggest plays, obviously, of this football game, but in Jake Coker's career.
In high school football in Mobile, he sat behind A.J. McCarron, the former Alabama quarterback, ultimately opted to go to Florida State, sat behind Jameis Winston. He transferred to Alabama, lost the starting job last year to Blake Sims. We chatted with him earlier. Here is Griffith's kickoff, and this one will be returned. Nope, Jonathan Ford takes a knee. It's always been a big dream of mine. It means a lot to me. He was an all-city, almost an all-state basketball player in Mobile. He's not a small man. He said, no, I was never going to play basketball in college. It was also always at quarterback. And what a performance today. There's a guy.
Now it's Jeremy Johnson's time to see if he can answer this. There's been quarterbacks in this series. That guy, remember, down 24-0 in 2010. Now it's the other quarterback needs to make his mark on the game.
It's a tough start, Javon Robinson.
Not going to be able to hide the quarterback now. Now you're going to have to say, Jeremy, we kept it ugly. We kind of mucked around. We did a lot of stuff. But sooner or later, Vern, we always know this, right? It always finds them. It always finds that quarterback. It's like when you put your guy out in right field, they always hit it to that guy, don't they?
I'll bet you never in your life you were chosen last and had to play right field.
That's not true.
Okay. Oh, dear. That's a woulda, shoulda, coulda, Tony Stevens.
Maurice Smith had a chance for this, but it was a fastball. It was not thrown very well, thrown well behind the receiver that time. Stevens had no chance.
3rd down 12. Johnson, 5 of 10 for 65 yards. Darius Stewart with 6 catches for Alabama. Stunts defensively. Johnson down the middle. Oh! Jason Smith! Can you say Ricardo Lewis and the Prairie Jordan Hare? That was against Georgia 2 weeks ago.
2 years ago.
Thank you.
This time, he tipped it to himself. Ricardo Lewis needed help from the other team. What a play by Jason Smith. High school quarterback, not used to being a wide receiver, really talented, and he just put Auburn back in the football game with a huge play. Can't do much about that. If you're Alabama, you got to tip your hat to that one.
You bet. Daniel Carlson with the extra point attempt. Well, I said 2 weeks ago. It was 2 years ago. It came 2 weeks before the kick six. Here's Georgia at Auburn on 4th down and 18. Nick Marshall. Watch it tipped. Boom. Ricardo Lewis scoots in. And just a moment ago, Jason Smith. I can catch this. We have a ball game. Toward the end of this one, we got a couple of pretty good candidates in the last 2 touchdowns.
This is the first time in the game that I really feel like the crowd's in the game.
Interesting.
We talked about it. There has to be a belief. And it might have been that play that finally this crowd said, hey, anything could happen.
Damian Harris is the deep back. Carlson. Gary, take us through the touchdown.
Well, there's not much coaching you can do here. Eddie Jackson and Geno Mateus-Smith, 24 and 4, are in perfect position. They've got everybody in front of them. They see the throw. They react to it. Geno Mateus-Smith thinks he's going to intercept it. A beautiful play by Jason Smith, reaching out, tipping it, and then staying with it. And all of a sudden, Jeremy Johnson said, I just did a Cam Newton. Remember when it was 24-0 and Cam Newton hit that one deep play before half, and all of a sudden the dam burst.
Henry, nothing. Jonathan Rudy Ford with the tackle.
Rudy Ford used to line up much deeper in this defense as a safety. He was moved up to that nickel position, get him closer to the line of scrimmage. Another adjustment that Will made to his defense that made them better.
On 2nd and 9, delayed handoff to Henry. He surges out across the 30 to the 33. Now let's take you back to the Aflac trivia answer. The question, the only season in which Alabama and Auburn each had a player finish in the top 5. You get kudos for this.
I got that one.
Yeah, he got that.
Well, that's back when I played, so I should have an idea.
All right. 3rd down and 3. Ridley, top of the screen. Here's Coker. Across the middle. Caught. 1st down.
That was great coverage, though, on the play. You have to give Carlton Davis, number 18, another 2 true freshmen. First-year players right there. 2 elite athletes. 1 receiver, 1 corner. Very physical on the play. Ridley stays with it. That is good football.
1st down, 10. Henry. Oh, so close. Adam Zucker in our New York studio for a Ford update. Henry again. And that should be another 1st down. We got a little shoving match going up. Amounts to nothing.
The interesting part, because of no Kenyon Drake, it's forced Henry to be basically the only ball carrier. He now has 26 rushing attempts with a full quarter to play. Looks like he'll probably end up with 35 in this game. Remember, if they win, he's got to come back next week against Florida.
1st down, 10. His season high carries is 38. Whoops.
Snap, false start, 76. Offense, 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
Five-yard penalty, walked off against Dominic Jackson, the right tackle. First down, 15. Ridley and Stewart, 6 catches each. Henry, 156 yards. Coker. Nope. Well, Derrick Henry having a wonderful season thus far. Single season rush leaders, he is now past Trent Richardson and Mark Ingram, who won the Heisman as a running back in 2009.
Well, this used to be almost a surefire draw screen down for Alabama.
Wow.
That was very, very conservative.
Montravius Adams, number 1, first man there. Montravius Adams and Dontavius Russell side by side in that defensive line. And this was Adams the junior. 3rd and 14. Little Lane Kiffin dial up here. He's got 2 wide receivers to the left side, Ridley and Mulaney.
Well, let's see if Carl Lawson can make his impact in this game.
Reverse, Ardarius Stewart. Out of bounds at the 48.
There was not a belief in the play calling, the offensive brain trust that Alabama could pass block on 3rd and 15. They decided to pitch it short and punt it.
So that brings on J.K. Scott with the final 25 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Unraveling, Marcus Davis is the deep man. He waits at the 10.
Nobody is covering this wing over here.
J.K. Scott.
Twice when he didn't want to, got off his 2 best punts of the night.
So it is a touchback. We've reached the end of 3. 2 big touchdown passes and catches. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. Jordan-Hare Stadium. 1913 Alabama in the 80th Iron Bowl. Alabama hoping for a victory and a trip to Atlanta to take on Florida. Auburn trying to dent those aspirations of its detested rival and open the door for a possible Ole Miss trip to Atlanta. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Allie the Force, and our entire crew here on Thanksgiving Saturday. Alabama comes in with a 1-game edge. Ole Miss plays at Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl this evening.
Just to underline again what kind of upset this would be. In the last 10 SEC games that Auburn has played, they're 2-8, 2-5 this year, and they lost their last 3 last season.
Johnson deep across the middle. Did he hang on? Ricardo Lewis.
Sure did.
Whoa.
Ricardo Lewis goes up and get it. Eddie Jackson delivers a good shot. Lewis holds on to it. Nice job. It's the wheel route that they opened up the game with, coming onto the outside. This time the center of the field was more open. Eddie Jackson got there a step late. Stayed to the wide side too long. Another nice throw. Might be as we look at Denzel Duvall right there.
One of the seniors for Alabama.
He's right there. Let's see what happens to him. Takes on the blocker. It appeared that even before he got the last end of that play, it hurt him as he was rushing. He could feel it as he was rushing.
Time call.
Time for our Geico game recap.
Take you back to a goal line stand early in the game. That's Derrick Henry being stopped. And for a second time, he tries to bounce to the outside. They had a second and goal from the 1. Incomplete pass. And back-to-back missed opportunities. Here's the first, as Ardarius Stewart could not hang on. And watch this dropped interception, as Blake Countess would have traveled uninterrupted. Then it became a game of field goals. Carlson is 2 of 3 now. He missed from 48 yards out. Adam Griffith, perfect thus far, with a long of 50 yards. And then things got heated in the third quarter. Jacob Coker, Ardarius Stewart, first touchdown of the game. And watch this. Jason Smith tips it to himself. Touchdown. And that's where we stand. 19-13. Denzel Duvall being assisted to the sidelines, injured on his last rushing play. That was a 25-yard completion to Ricardo Lewis. Johnson. Intended for Jason Smith. Well, 6-point game, 14:36 to go. What are your expectations now?
We're going to have a great finish in this football game. Yes, I thought that Alabama with that touchdown would go one way or another. It'd be a blowout, or Auburn would find a way to score. I did not believe that it would be a score like that. That was incredible. Good defense by Alabama, but one of those plays where they just do it better than you do it.
Johnson. Oh, he had his man wide open, Ricardo Lewis.
It would have had to have been Cam Newton perfect on this play. The ball's going to be thrown right in this area right here, but it had to be stuck right in the middle of the zone. It would have been there. You're right, Vern. He was open, but it would have had to have been a really good throw. Yep, Cam could have got that one.
3rd down 10. Johnson 7 of 14 now. Again, we've had no turnovers in the game. Here's Johnson. Rush coming. He avoided it. Johnson, no, he can't. Loses his balance after the initial contact was made. Geno Matias Smith.
Well, I think it was just one right after another. You know, Matias Smith ended up with it, but it was just one guy, then another guy, then another guy. Maurice Smith was there first, I think, as Kirby Smart said, I'm going for it this time.
And so Kevin Phillips is back to punt. Cyrus Jones moves up to the 21-yard line. Return on all the way. Jones. Fair catch. 13:43 to go. That's a 46-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Johnson slips and falls. Gus Malzahn can't. Wheels up. LGV 10. Point break. And by Chick-fil-A. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear for 60 years. Goodyear has provided aerial coverage of college football's greatest traditions and biggest rivalries. Jordan-Hare Stadium. I think most of you know that Jordan was Ralph Shug Jordan, 25 years a head coach at Auburn. How about the hair? Cliff Hare, a member of Auburn's first football team in 1893, ultimately became dean of the Auburn School of history. And just to complete the thought, it's Pat Dye Field. Pat Dye, coach here for 12 years. And very instrumental in getting Alabama to play here and making it a home-and-home series. Derrick Henry. Well, let's take a look at the top 10 today here on Rivalry Week. Clemson defeated South Carolina, but only by 5. Oklahoma State, Bedlam tonight. Iowa outlasted Nebraska. Michigan State leads Penn State. Notre Dame tonight, and the rest. Second down and 8. Blitz from the corner. Henry up the middle. He had a 30-yard gain, Gary, back in the first quarter.
I do believe Auburn has done about as good a job as you can on him in this football game. Had that one early play. You know, of the 20-yard plays for Alabama all year coming into the game, Henry had 14 of them himself.
Well, here he goes out near the 35.
So adding, he now has 15. The next two are Ridley with 8. He's had 1, so he's got 9. O.J. Howard had 5, and Ardarius Stewart had 5. So he now has 6. But mostly the big plays this whole season has been coming from number 2.
And so far, 30 carries, 173 yards.
Yeah, to win this game, he's got to go at least 35.
Play action, Coker. Tucks it, runs it. Stiff arm. Nice defensive play. It's out of bounds.
Oh,
flag, and an official goes down.
Yeah, 15 more, and that official hit that slick spot, and I hope he didn't fall in the back of his head there as he came down, because he was reaching for his flag. Right there at the end of the play, it's going to be Rudy Ford, Jonathan Ford, number 23, that gets the call, but the official took a nasty one.
There's Coker down, and there's the official.
Yeah, see how he was. Oh, he really didn't fall on his head. That's good news. But I think it's Chris Snead, the center umpire. Fell on his back on the play. Thankfully, he didn't land right on his noggin there.
Yeah.
But he did throw the flag, and it's going to be 15 yards marched off. He looks like a tough guy, though, I'll tell you that.
He does.
I'm all right. And he doesn't have to sit out a play either, even though he lost his helmet.
You're right.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
This is an easy call. Jonathan Ford, number 23, working hard. I get that. Coker's a big, tough guy. But as he hits him, his first contact, Coker's nearly 3 yards out of bounds. And you can see the flag's being thrown, and Chris is throwing his flag just as he's going down.
During the dead ball period, we had an unsportsmanlike conduct against the bench of Auburn.
That is a 30-yard penalty on the end of a, 4 or 5 yard play?
Wow.
All our eyes were on the opposite sideline. I did not see that.
We are advised from the fellas in the production truck that can't find anything on tape. First and 10 at the 34. Henry. Chris Frost is the first man there.
I tell you, we are suspecting that it might have been on Will Muschamp for language.
That's Will Muschamp, defensive coordinator. Second down. Mullaney in motion. Henry.
One more look at this. This is exactly what happened. Will Muschamp starts working, and it must have been something he said. He's out on the field. He did not like the call. I don't read lips. I have no idea what he said. But the official threw a dead ball, 15-yard flag out.
Yep. Third down, 7. Darius Stewart. Mullaney trying to help. Spin. Stewart.
No, did not get it.
Nope.
Obviously, a field goal is big here. Would make it a 9-point game, but it's going to be a long one if it is. So after the 30 yards of penalties, Will Muschamp's defense stands up and gets the stop.
So Adam Griffith, who is perfect for today, comes on a 4th down and 5. He's hit from 50. This one is from 47. Huge field goal. Starts right. Curves left. Got it.
Oh, Will Muschamp is back out on the field. They had to drag him off again. He is very fortunate he did not get 15 more right there. The kick goes through, and look at him churn right there. Look at him get pulled back. A good job by the assistants to turn what could have been another disaster, and Tom Ritter is telling Will he's got to cool it.
The commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, is here. Dr. Pepper, Florida 10-1. They've earned their way in. It'll be either Alabama or Ole Miss. And the day begins with an hour's worth of pregame talk. Adam Griffith getting a measure of revenge. 5 for 5 over his last visit here.
Let's go through this again. This is the first 15-yarder by Will. He's in the ear, I believe it's Anthony Jeffries, the side judge. That's the first 15-yarder after the original 15-yarders. And then the same side judge, Will continues to work on him. And Anthony Jeffries, I think, does a great job of not having rabbit ears and overreacting. Will comes out on the field, gets pulled back, and then Tom Ritter and Gus Malzahn, I think, do a good job, especially Tom Ritter, of diffusing a situation there. Let it be determined on the field. I thought Tom Ritter's crew did a great job of not taking a tough situation and make it even worse.
First down 10, Auburn. Here's the handoff to Peyton Barber. Reuben Foster makes the stop.
It would have been so easy for that side judge to throw his flag again and just say it. But you know what? He stood there, he took it like a man, and he just said, let's move on. Great officiating.
Second down, 7. Into the flat. Rock Thomas made the catch. Reuben Foster with the tackle, and I think the flag is going to be thrown on Foster.
He was out of bounds when he tossed him.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 10, late hit out of bounds, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He engaged him, I believe, on the field, but then he tossed him at the end of it. Now, you're going to get that call. You know that's coming. When they just called the big one on the other side, that ain't happening. You're not going to get away with that one. That was an easy call. In the middle of a game, in the middle of nowhere, if nothing happens, maybe not. But after what just happened, they're going to call it.
Up the middle, nothing doing. First down and 10.
And Reuben Foster makes another play.
Yeah. Just a reminder that he committed to Auburn. He is a native of Auburn and then flipped at the last minute and signed with the Crimson Tide.
A lot of people were speculating why Nick Saban didn't go for 2 earlier. This is the exact reason why you don't early, because now another field goal makes it a 9-point game. If he'd have gone for it and not made it, it would have been an 8-point game, a 1-possession game.
Johnson into the flat to Peyton Barber, and he can't hang on to it.
They're always nice when you make them for 2, but you have to think about what if you don't. Just imagine if Alabama was at 21 now, 8-point game means just 1 possession.
3rd and 10. Johnson now 8 of 16. 77 of his 169 yards came on a touchdown pass, a brilliant play by Jason Smith.
I think if Auburn gets 4 or 5 yards here, they may think of going for it on 4th down.
Rush coming. Rush getting there. Tim Williams. That's his 6.5 sack of the season.
Can I tell you, as a quarterback, the half sacks hurt just as much as the full sacks, okay? They hurt. Left side of the screen comes around to the outside. It is a substitute in the game for Auburn. Robert Leff, number 70, is in the game for Avery Young, number 56. And got beat pretty easily.
So that will bring on Kevin Phillips for his 5th punt. Cyrus Jones back, fair catch. Called for and taken at the 18.
Well, I can tell you right now on that Alabama bench, they're going 1 5 or 6 minute drive right now, and we're going to go into the SEC championship and play for a spot in the playoffs.
Alabama up by 9. Let's take you back to the Alabama-LSU game and a similar circumstance.
Yes, this is when LSU pulled it within 14 in that 4th quarter. Alabama takes it out of their own shadow, their end zone, and puts together a drive to finish it off. Same situation right now. Up by 9, two-score game. You see Lane Kiffin right there saying stay in bounds. They want 4 or 5 first downs and put it away. Obviously, the other side says now or never. 3 and out, tackle for a loss, whatever we can do right now. Can this Auburn defense produce a punt and go from there?
First down 10. And Coker hustles over to have a last-minute chat with Lane Kiffin. Keep your eye upper right corner of the graphic. 13 seconds on the play clock, and Derrick Henry might expect a heavy dose of hit.
Everybody knows Derrick Henry's getting the ball here. You better hurry up.
3 seconds. 2. Got it snapped. Henry. Oh, boy. Thank you, Doctor.
There's one thing knowing it's coming. There's another thing stopping it. It's like a Nolan Ryan fastball. Here it comes. You still got to hit it. And this time, Derrick Henry and Alabama throw their fastball.
33 carries for 192 yards. Dominic Jackson.
False start, 76. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, through 12 games, Mark Ingram
in 2009, and you can see Derrick Henry's numbers, 1,718 yards.
Well, Alabama has to finish it. I think Henry will win it if they finish off and win the SEC championship, and he has obviously one more game similar to this. I think he will, but you got to finish it. And now with that penalty, it's not as clean as that LSU drive was.
That's not very clean, is it? But here's Henry, and his own man tripped him up. I think O.J. Howard got a foot out.
Thought that was Jonathan Ford, number 23, coming around the corner that time, coming off the edge. Could have made a tackle for a loss and really put it in a situation where Alabama had to think about throwing the ball.
Second down, 11. Up the middle, Henry.
Now look how big that first down illegal procedure penalty was. It would have been 3rd and inches or maybe even a first down. And now it's going to be 3rd and about 5 or 6.
"200-yard games in a single season." He's in pretty rarefied air, isn't he? Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson is here watching Derrick Henry's effort.
And if Auburn gets a stop here, Gus Malzahn has to think about using a timeout. He can't burn 40 seconds. He needs 2 scores.
Henry.
Didn't get it.
No.
Well, that's going to take another 2 minutes off the clock unless Auburn wants to start burning them now. What a job by that offensive line. Ryan Kelly, Pierce Baker, good job up front. And Cam Newton, when you play in the NFL, you get used to the clock. As a quarterback in the NFL, you get used to playing on these 5 minutes, 4 minute situations. You know exactly what's going on.
5:10 to go. And a fresh set of downs.
That was an impressive 3 downs for Alabama right there. 1st and 15.
And it's a 1st and 10 here. Here's Henry going left. He's over 200. And he's carried the ball 37 times, one off of his career best. Out of Yulee, Florida, where over the course of his career, he obliterated a high school career rushing record that had been set from 1950 to 1953 by Ken Hall of Sugar Land, Texas.
Alabama had trouble getting the play in on this one. It's not the worst timeout. I'll tell you why. Derrick Henry was gassed. And as bad as it may look to Nick Saban right now, a timeout with 3 seconds on the clock is not the worst time to rest.
Here's one run by Derrick Henry. Here's the second. Alabama has run 67 plays. Number 2 has carried on 37 of them. Did you expect anything less?
That's what I'm talking about. He's got a fresh Derrick Henry after that. And now what's going to happen is Auburn's going to start taking timeouts. So he's going to get rested some more. They can't let this thing go down 2 more minutes.
Derrick Henry has equaled his number of carries in a single game, 38.
If they get a decent stop right here, Gus will call timeout. That's my prediction. Of course, not the coach. I just slept in a Holiday Inn Express.
Took you back to Tuscaloosa, did we? 1st down and 10. 39th carry. Well, I will say this. Derrick Henry has done nothing to diminish his Heisman Trophy aspirations. Maybe enhanced them.
Well, I said he needed at least 35 to win this game. He's at 39. And the offensive line Jake Coker's 2 scrambles and the field goals. Yeah, that sums it up.
2nd down 5. Putting down on this.
Timeout. Yep. You've got to call timeout, please. They did. Whew.
Well, Alabama's up by 9, and they've got the ball with a 3rd and 6. I think it's time to have you have a say about the college.
Committee's going to want to know what to do this week. Let me tell them what to do.
Okay.
All right. Undefeated Clemson still in the driver's seat. They beat North Carolina. Obviously, they're in. Iowa and Michigan State control their own destiny. That's a play-in game. If Alabama wins and Florida wins, they will be in. I don't care if Florida wins 2-0. I don't care if Florida State forfeits and they beat Alabama. If they are the champs with 1 loss, they're in. And I believe Oklahoma, because remember, the committee weighs championship. They weigh the championship over Notre Dame, and Notre Dame needs help.
Well, you see those who are alive, and Michigan and Stanford need an LSU 2007.
Michigan's gone, Ohio State's gone, right?
3rd down 6. Only getting fight for it. He came up a yard short.
I think Alabama's going to go for this, aren't they?
I think so. So timeout called by Auburn. Listen, I know that you have looked intensely at the protocol.
You're going to get everybody mad at me.
Well, no.
Okay.
I'm here to say.
All right, I'll do it myself. This is the protocol. And if you look, the reading right here I see, providing enough flexibility and discretion to select a non-champion or independent under circumstances where that particular non-champion or independent unequivocally, I practiced that word, is one of the 4 best teams.
And Gary, what is the meaning of unequivocally?
You should get a game show. I think that's what you should do. That's what we looked up, and that means in a way not subject to conditions or exceptions, and I think that Oklahoma will get the nod over Notre Dame because you can't make it clear cut that Notre Dame's better than Oklahoma. If it's Oklahoma State, you might be able to argue that should Notre Dame beat Stanford.
All right, you've made some choices here. You get one more. What role do I emulate? Pat Sajak or Alex Trebek?
Either one. I'm really not sure if Ohio State's out yet because there could be chaos at the end.
Yep, I agree. 4th down. Derrick Henry. I don't know.
Derrick Henry on the carry.
I don't think
he did.
Nope.
I thought his knee came down. This would be looked at like a touchdown. I think he's short. He never really got his feet behind him on this one. He stumbles and falls forward, and I don't think so. Game's still alive. He needed to hit that full speed.
Yep.
It's very close. And then we're going to have to look again to see if his knees touched before they spotted it.
There's the stretch.
Yep. Short. Don't even need to look. Derrick Henry never got up. Any steam behind him that time. No momentum going forward. He kind of stumbled forward, leaped out as far as he could. If he had hit that full speed, I don't see how they could have stopped him.
That was a 10-play drive. All 10 plays, runs by Henry. But on the 10th play.
And remember, it was the 4th down play 2 years ago that Alabama didn't make that really set up all the craziness at the end of the game. Remember Carl Lawson made that stop on 4th down?
I think the ball was down before the knee was down.
I'll tell you what, where that ball landed was past the line. They may move this up 6 inches. I didn't see his knee go down. Knee down right there. Yeah.
Well, if anything,
they're not moving
simultaneous.
that.
Yeah.
They're not moving that. That ball's staying right there. There's not enough there.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Auburn's ball, first down.
Now that was unequivocal.
There, no doubt about that. Well, now we got a football game again. All you need to do, remember, if they make that, the game is over.
Right.
Now, you got to hold on if you're Alabama, and Auburn has one more chance. They score, they go onside. Alabama took 5 minutes off, but they cannot take 7.5 minutes off. But they needed one more first down.
Johnson, 8 of 16 for 169. 3-man rush. They drop 8. That one is complete and stops the clock. Peyton Barber. Clock stopped with 2:40 remaining.
Well, you remember with the way Daniel Carlson can kick, I mean, Auburn's just got to get a touchdown. Even if there's 10 seconds left, they still have a chance.
2nd down, 7. Fake the reverse. Johnson deep down the middle, tipped and incomplete. And it was Reuben Foster. First man there. Well, coming up when this is in the books, back to New York for the Ram post-game show on Rivalry Weekend. 3rd down, 7.
This Alabama defense, one of the best sacking defenses we have in college football. Can they make a play, or will Johnson have the time to throw the ball?
4-man rush. Johnson has the time, but it's incomplete. It was 4th and 7.
Missed him.
Wide open. Ray, yep.
Wide open. Got to put that on the body. Just out in front of him. Could have been caught. I don't want to be that hard on him. Could have been caught. Obviously, if you're trying to beat Alabama, you got to come up with those. But Ray would have liked to have it a little bit further inside.
4th and 7 with 2:18 to go. They stack receivers on both sides. Across the middle. Oh boy. That's it. Melvin Ray.
No miracle. Ray had 2 chances. The first one, he could have made a good catch. The second one, he needed to just make a high school catch.
Yep. So the ball goes over on downs. 2:13 remaining.
Auburn could get it back with the proper use of timeouts with what, 29, 30 seconds left. They got one left.
One timeout remaining.
Remember a year ago when Alabama played in this game, they did not have to win this game to go to the SEC championship.
That's Henry again, and that is a new Alabama single game record for numbers of carries. That's number 43, and Auburn uses its final timeout. So hope you'll be with us. A week from today, we're going to have Florida and Alabama. Jim McElwain's team playing later tonight against Florida State. Alabama has now won 9 in a row, and that eliminates Ole Miss from any possibility of making it to Atlanta. 2nd down 5 with 2:09 to go. Well, there is an Auburn alum That's Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, and to his left, our right, that's his nephew, Alexander. And a nicer young man you can't imagine.
Yeah, they were up in the booth, had a good time.
Yep. Tim gave the commencement speech here in 2010. Go ahead, Gary.
Vern, and just real quickly, you can make the argument that Auburn should let Alabama score here. 9 and 7 would be 16. They'd still have a chance.
Here's Henry. Oh, he was taken down hard. He looks a little weary.
You could also make an argument not to run Derrick Henry anymore, too.
Yeah. That's 44 carries. I'm reminded of the classic John McKay line when he was coaching at USC, and he had a running back named O.J. Simpson who carried it 38 yards. And McKay was questioned about the number of carries. Didn't that tire out O.J. Simpson? And John McKay said, I don't know why, it's not heavy.
That's right. Well, sure, Alabama can't get him nicked on a, kind of a meaningless run right here.
3rd down 5. Flag.
Number 14, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down. The clock will start on the snap.
I think Nick was wanting to call timeout, and Lane was waving him off like, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. And that time, we weren't fine. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Well, they'll have a decently long bus ride to either discuss it or choose not to. 3rd down 10. Henry.
Henry, the ball carrier.
On 45 carries, 246 yards.
So they'll go for it here on 4th down again.
Under a minute.
Could Alabama take a timeout with 1 second to go here and rest Henry for this 4th down play? I think they will.
Yeah. Looks that way. Fourth down 1, 33 seconds remaining. He returns, followed by the story of Santa Claus, and then a dose of reality with a new edition of 48 Hours. 4th and 1.
I'm surprised this isn't a quarterback sneak, to tell you the truth. Whoa, touchdown.
Henry! Punctuation mark.
Everybody gets their blocks, gets around the corner. I thought for a second he was going to slide down on the 1 yard line. But why not?
22nd rushing touchdown, surpassing the mark set by Trent Richardson. Adam Griffith with the extra point. Griffith 5 for 5 field goals tonight. Little revenge for the young man born in Poland and adopted by a couple from America. Derrick Henry now with 271 yards. It is not all that long a ride from Auburn to Tuscaloosa, and no one will enjoy it more than Derrick Henry. 46 carries, 271 yards as Crimson Tide wins its 9th in a row. They lost at home to Ole Miss with 5 turnovers in that game, and they are rolling. It took a little struggle tonight.
It did, but that touchdown made a lot of Alabama fans very happy, if you know what I mean.
I think I get your drift. And only now is the game over. Well, the struggle continues. Kerryon Johnson
Great job by Jeremy Johnson on the bench. I was watching to him. He went right over to Ray and said, hey, we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. It's not all on you, Mel. Everybody tries to catch him. Melvin Ray was just wasn't able to lift his head up, and Jeremy walked over there. Good leadership. Played a good, tough football game. But, you know, as we look forward to that SEC championship, Alabama's dynasty started by beating Florida. Remember that? Back in 2009. They've been number one at some time in the season. Think about this. Every season since 2008. And they can do it again this year. Incredible run.
Yeah, it has been. Second down and 10. SEC West standings going into the games tonight. Alabama 7-1, and they are en route to Atlanta next week. Arkansas, Texas A&M follow Ole Miss. Second down 10. Should be the final play. Johnson has it tipped, and there will be one more play. Tim Williams.
Third down.
Just thinking about that sequence back there when we had Ford with the hit out of bounds and Will Muschamp and those important 15 yards that actually got Alabama into field goal position. Those were big 3 points. I mean, just a lot happened in that fourth quarter.
Johnson, lateral play, and that'll do it.